Thank you, Mr. President. Well, Senator Port, there's a sales tax increase in this bill for the metro area. Sales taxes are one of the most regressive taxes that we have in Minnesota. This is a tax on poor people, and you have it in the housing bill. Can you tell us how taxing poor people is going to help them afford housing or anything else? They're going to have less money left. Can you tell us how making them less financially capable and taking their money from them is going to help them afford any housing?
Senator Port.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Drazkowski, I'm happy to answer that question. Housing is the most regressive cost that we have facing families in Minnesota right now. Most families of the lowest income are paying more than 50% of their income, 50% members of their income on housing. The wealthiest among us pay just a fraction of that, even for the most expensive and expansive housing in Minnesota. It is just a fraction of their wealth. But for Minnesotans earning the least, they pay a large majority of their income to stay housed and have very little left for anything else. We have done almost nothing to address that as a state over the last 10 decades. And frankly, Mr. President, we have failed Minnesotans in that regard. This quarter-cent sales tax, which I can remind you does not come on food or clothing, essential items, which the lowest income among us is the majority of their spending. It comes on other items, and for the lowest income among us, for all of us, you would need to spend $20,000 additional dollars on taxable income to pay an extra $50 a year in tax. So yes, I agree, Senator Drazkowski, it is a tax on all of us, but it is a tax that will benefit the lowest income among us the most and keep them in stable housing, which is the most regressive cost that we have on Minnesotans.
Senator Drazkowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Port. Well, so members, we heard the chair say that there are people who are spending 50% of their income on housing. So members, that would mean that they would have 50% of their income available for something else after they pay for their housing. Now, members, after we tax these poor people with this bill, this Democrat tax bill on poor people, after we do this, they're going to have less than 50% of their money left. It's going to be less and less and less. We are making the poor people of Minnesota poorer with this bill. The Democrats are wrong-headed in this direction and forget the notion that people have to have some money left to even pay for housing or pay for food or pay for transportation or anything they pay for. But we are taking, again, like the bill yesterday or the day before, we are taking the money away from them that they have. They will have less and less and less money. This is making the poorest Minnesotans poorer in this Democrat housing bill that is now a Democrat housing tax bill. Members, we're going in the wrong direction. This bill is going to hurt Minnesotans and make them poor. I urge a no vote. Thank you, Mr. President.